What's good? It's your boy CJ Goodfella back with the Boxing Clinic. Shout out to everybody on that boxing grind. You know what it is. Another peer-to-peer video, another face-to-face video. I told you I'm going to try to do more of those. You know, I'm trying to do everything, trying to cover the whole, you know, the whole board, you know. I'm trying to yell, you know, get money. But we back. And shout out to Money Brown TV. You know, y'all go check him out on YouTube. Trap House Boxing's, Ashley's Corner, some of my favorite channels, Black Fight Fan TV, 7A Sports, Dante's Box Nation, Boxing Ego, love all those channels. But you know, I've been, you know, hearing a lot of hype talking about this Eddie Hearn coming to the U.S. and the takeover. You know, and one of my guys sent me an article yesterday, telling me that Carl Frampton, I know he signed with Frank Warren. James DeGill signed with Frank Warren. It was somebody else. And now it seems like Al Heyman's working more closely with Frank Warren, even though Danny Jacobs is over there with Eddie Hearn as well. So, remember, you know, Richard Schaefer, I talked about him and Eddie Hearn got beef. Eddie Hearn just said something else. I'm going to go watch the interview when I get off. So they're going back and forth, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, at the end of the day, you know, a lot of people are feeling that the UK is the hotbed for boxing. And I've been saying that. You know, I watched a video from Black Fight Fan talking about a year ago, talking about how, you know, UK was coming to dominate boxing. You know, that's true. But at the end of the day, when you put they fighters versus our fighters, however you want to say it, we are more dominant. We're the better fighters. They have the better fans, you know, because they fans are going to pay for, you know, they're going to pay for domestic. You know, domestic fights versus, you know, you got guys like Josh Kelly coming up, who's pretty good. Josh Taylor, who I think is going to be the best, one of the best pound for pound fighters if he keep going this rate and beat Miguel Vasquez. I think he's going to take over 140. You know, the coffee kid, the Yao Coffee kid, that's want to take on Roman Chocolito Gonzalez next on HBO. He's fighting this weekend. I mean, if he wins, he's going to be fighting Chocolito on HBO, from what I understand. I mean, Anthony Yard, Daniel Du Bois, I mean, you know, the Frenchman, Joe Joyce, who just won last Friday. They got a lot of good talent, you know, but at the end of the day, the best talent resides in the USA, period. When they fighters come over here, usually they step up and they lose, you know. You got your exceptions. You got your Joe Calzaghe, you know, Lennox Lewis. He lost over here, but he done well for himself over here. Vladimir Klitschko done well for himself over. You know, you have the exceptions, but you know, they can dominate the ticket sales, the fanfare, the media coverage, and that's cool because that's great, because one entity can't be powerful forever, you know, especially in the sport of boxing. We need it to be global, and for it to be global, the UK and other countries have to support their own boxers. In America, you don't get that. We don't support our own boxers to the fullest extent. Deontay Wilder just talked about that. He's one of the most hated boxers in America, believe it or not. You know, the UK fans, Deontay Wilder probably got more UK fans than he does American fans, damn near. But when it boils down to it, you know, USA boxing just better. You know, they can have the amateurs, Russians, Cubans can have the amateurs, the 4-round pity pat. But when it comes to the professional boxers, we have the best, you know, the best. You know, if you want to say North America and the whole, Canada, Mexico, all that, you're just talking about USA, it's the better boxer. And if Eddie Hearn, you know, felt that he can dominate the sport of boxing just off the UK, why would he come over to America and try to start his promotional company over here? He needs the American talent to dominate the boxing business. And Richard Schaefer knows it, Bob Arum knows it, Al Heyman knows it, everybody knows it. If you're not dominant in the US in boxing, then, you know, you're not going to dominate the boxing scene. And it's in flux right now. It's up for grabs because Al Heyman is an advisor and a manager. And what that means, when you a manager, he manages your career. You know, he tells you what's the best option. He's kind of like, you know, the matchmaker. You know, especially when his fighters don't have a promotional stable. You know, he might give them like, all right, these are 3 fights we got. You could pick one. When he's an advisor, which he's mostly a manager and advisor more than he is a manager, I mean, he hashes out the deal. He crunches the numbers. He gets you paid. And as a manager, he's more of a matchmaker and, you know, guiding your career. And most people get it twisted with Erislandy Lara that he's his manager and advisor. No, he only just crunched the numbers for Lara. Luis de Cubas, I think his name is the manager, a little short, Cuban kind of chubby guy. He's the manager. He's the ones that's picking these fights for him. So don't get it twisted when you hear that. But it's up for grabs, and Eddie Hearn most definitely could come over here and become a promotional powerhouse because Bob Arum is not getting the best talent out there. Richard Schaefer has some great prospects. I'm telling you, Richard Schaefer got some great prospects. He's going to be his biggest competition, and that's why they're chirping back and forth with each other, Schaefer and Eddie Hearn. Oscar De La Hoya, a lot of people say, oh, he got all these Latino fighters. Oscar De La Hoya has one ace in the hole, and that's Canelo. Then he got Lemieux, then Cotto's on his way out. So he only got one ace in the hole. He's still on the comeback trail to recover after what Schaefer and Al Heyman did to him and got away with. I know Al Heyman beat the case. He's, resuing him. He's going to try to do it again. Richard Schaefer, I don't know what's going on with that. He did his time away from boxing. Now he's bringing back Ringstar Sports, who's doing phenomenal because you wouldn't know it because he's not mainly on the mainstream. A lot of his fighters is prospects. He's building a garden from scratch and letting it grow. But when you talk about, anybody else, main events is sliding. I mean, Eddie Hearn is picked his right position to come over here and dominate. And the money is in the UK right now. Of course, there's money in the US, but the most money is in the UK. And I don't see why more fighters like Rigondeaux didn't go over to a European tour. Pacquiao should have did a European tour. Floyd could have did a European tour. 6 fights in 6 months or something like that. It's a lot of money. A lot of those guys going to pay top dollar for that. But Eddie Hearn can dominate the US market. And his biggest competition to me is Richard Schaefer. And Bob Arum, of course. But Richard Schaefer is kind of his rival because they both kind of starting from the ground up in America. And he got Danny Jacobs and, Eddie Hearn. He got a leg up right now. But don't make no mistake, dude. If America's talent wasn't more dominant than anybody else in professional ranks, Eddie Hearn would not have came to America. He knows for his take for world domination in boxing, which is, the only real guy that's standing in his way, is Schaefer and Bob Arum because Al Heyman's going to ride whoever's winning wave. It's going to be with Schaefer. He can ride Schaefer and Eddie Hearn at the same time. No homo. He can ride those two waves at the same time. Only wave he ain't riding, is top ranked main events. Because they tried to sue him and Oscar De La Hoya no more. Golden Boy. So he's in a position of, I'm going with the winning team where I can play both sides right now. But, it's key. It's key. It's a war going on. And the U.S. is pretty much, for the taking. And we're going to see who get the better prospects. And I say top rank because top rank is not getting the American prospects. They getting these amateur prospects from Uzbekistan and Russia and Ukraine, and they trying to bring them here to make them stars because they have that white skin color. And then promoters are looking for the next great white hype in the sport of boxing because that's what will sell. It's not being racial or anything. That's what people want to see. The casual public. We need a white champion. Joe Smith Jr. fell a little short, broke his jaw again. But that's what he on the hunt for. Top, Bob Arum. He's trying to hit a home run in the bottom of the ninth, and we'll see if he can do it. But at the end of the day, it's a war going on in the USA, and we're gonna see what goes on.